Hello friends, I'm Kent Skelton and I'm so glad you are here. Together, we can battle this struggle and find freedom from it all. Life is continuous, and it would be ridiculous to say that you or I don't experience those seconds, minutes, hours, or days that seem like they'll never end. Time continues, regardless of how we feel or what we experience. We search longingly for a way to handle and navigate through these situations we are experiencing. There has to be a way. Indeed, I can find the solution to eliminate these negative experiences and periods of despair I am feeling. Maybe it's not our problems but those of family members or loved ones living in pain. These pains may come from alcoholism, addictions, illness, grief, boredom, and so many other forms. What will we do? Where is that light I'm supposed to be able to see at the end of the tunnel? When will I see it? When will this end? The timing to realize you need help is up to each of us. That's you, that's me. We are each individually accountable for ourselves. We have to make the change, and the timing is now. There's no time like the present to desire and begin that road to recovery. Together, let's reach that freedom from struggle.
Hello, everybody. I'm Kent, and go by Red here on Military Broadcast Radio, and we're welcoming you to the Freedom from Struggle show. I hope everybody can hear me fine. Terry, Amber, y'all hearing me?
Yes.
Great.
Yes.
Okay. I hope some folks out there that are listening to the broadcast can also hear us. First off, I want to give a big thanks to Military Broadcast Radio for just allowing myself and my two guests to be able to be here today, sharing with you on the Freedom from Struggle. It's a brand new podcast. It's the first day we've aired it, and I'm really excited about it. I do this weekly in my church in Biloxi, Mississippi, at First Baptist Church Biloxi. It's a Celebrate Recovery group that I lead. I also attend Alcoholics Anonymous meetings at different times during the week, and sometimes other recovery meetings just like the one we do on Thursday nights. But just a little bit about myself. I've struggled throughout, not throughout my life, but early part of my life, from probably teenage years, especially the latter teens, with alcohol. And man, I drank a little bit, and not too terribly much, but I got into the Air Force and got hired on and brought in a guaranteed job at air traffic control. And somehow, some way, the military, I ain't gonna blame that, but I tell you what, a lot of the folks I hung around, we all loved having a good time, and what we thought was a good time, or debriefing after work, any excuse to go have a few beers, and then it would just lead to more and more in the evening, and more often. And I did that for several years. Actually, I guess I got in the military when I was 21 or 22 years old, and by the time I was 30 or 31, I was having to cry uncle. If I had a white towel, I'd wave it. Can you see that? Wave my white piece of paper. I surrender. I cried uncle. And luckily I got away from it. I did not get away from it on my own. I went to AA meetings. I was directed to go to AA meetings. And I went to them and started learning a little bit, I guess, really about myself and where I thought I was. I really wasn't. And might have been 5-card poker on Saturday night, church on Sunday morning type relationship. But we got better. We improved by working the steps. This is kind of based on a 12-step program, the Celebrate Recovery, Alcoholics Anonymous. It's that's what it is, and those steps can get you out of it. Today, and I'll just add to it, I'm a grateful believer in Jesus Christ, and that was the answer. That was the answer to that was my saving grace. But I want to share with you guys throughout this program different ways and to recover, to help in your recovery, or to aid in getting started on a recovery, and also talking to other people that have some experiences with, it could be any kind of hurt habit or hang up. It doesn't just have to be alcohol or addiction. It doesn't just have to be that you know somebody that is. But I guarantee you, we all know someone somewhere, most likely in our families, even It's very often right here in our homes, especially if you have older teenagers and young adults in your home. You never know who is struggling, okay? And we just got to do our part to help others, and we got to do our part to help ourselves. But hey, today we got Terry and Amber with us, and Terry, I'm going to ask you to go first. If you, we're glad to have you here for one thing.
Well, thank you, Red. I appreciate it. I myself am not struggling from alcohol, but I have family members that are. And obviously I have other problems that I suffer from and, self-deprecating behaviors that, you think you're not good enough. You think you can't do it because that's what people tell you. So really and truthfully, it's a process that you just have to get yourself around the concept that you're okay and what you do to get yourself better is needed and, is warranted because you matter and obviously too with family members that are struggling, you have to have some tough love for them. You can't keep enabling them to continue that behavior. At some point you have to say enough's enough, and it's hard to watch them struggle and it's hard to watch them hit bottom, but sometimes that's what's needed in order to get them to a good place. And I have a family member currently in rehab, and it was a struggle to get him there. We had to send him from one coast to the other, and it took a whole team to make that transition for him from one state all the way over to the West Coast. So it's something that families have to go through, and families need to just give a little tough love to some of these loved ones and let them know that you love them, but you're not going to let them continue spiraling down.
That's a fact. Terry, we appreciate it. And listen, I've told you already before the show, and folks out there, Terry and Amber, man, they're my little they're my crutches today. Okay, they're keeping me standing up, and I appreciate y'all here supporting me and being able to share a little bit about yourselves. Okay,
You're welcome.
Amber,
Yes, sir.
Amber, who are you? Where are you from? Why are you here?
Okay, I am doing Into the Weeds podcast on MBR, and I was in the Army for 1 year. I was in basic training, and I was at my almost 7th week, and I fell and broke my back in 3 places. And so I'm just using podcasting as kind of cognitive therapy for myself
Okay,
to get me thinking again and processing. I've definitely changed a lot since I got hurt and since I was in bed for 6 years with migraines. So yeah, that's a little bit about me. But I also I have a family history of a lot of drug use. My mother and father were drug addicts. They were both meth addicts, and my brother as well struggled with that up until he passed of cancer. And my husband is a recovering addict. He got clean in 1999, but he was actually using intravenously, so way before I met him. But so yeah, it's all over my family. And I have a cousin who's in prison right now for 25 years at Chillicothe Women's Prison for trafficking in meth. Her sentence is a little more than that, but that's why she's there.
Amber, I
So
appreciate it.
thank you.
Did I cut you off at all?
No.
Okay, Amber, thank you, and thank you for your introduction. We're glad you're here. Also, uh, one thing about a recovery program, if you can think about it, is there's just you're not going to find us here and our co-host and guest using profanity and stuff like that, just because you don't want to, you don't want to offend somebody, and just you want to be nice and be caring for anybody that might be listening. Okay, and all we're here, we're not trying to push anything on you. This is strictly a 12-step process that we want to talk about. And living in this broken world, we all deal with life's hurts, habits, and hangups. Not one single one of us has the ability, well, that you could stand a good chance of slacking off, but to be guaranteed the ability to be able to go sober, go clean, or correct or recover from any of your type of hurts, habits, hang-ups, or problems you might deal with, it's about you, and you can't do it alone. Amber, you just said yourself, it seems like you were immortal before you came to realize after breaking some bones and being stuck in bed with migraines that you found out you were truly mortal, huh?
Oh, yeah,
She,
most
she said, I
definitely.
agree.
Actually, from the beginning of my life. So,
Oh, okay. All right. So you already knew it. Okay. If you had to get a
yes,
little twist of the arm to remind you or something like
yes.
that. But look, we're not supposed to face this on our own. We're not supposed to have to do anything on our own. Okay.
Hmm.
Now, another thing I want to just remind people, um, we encourage your comments on whatever platform you might be watching. You can email MBR Radio. Um, we just really want to hear from you, okay? And myself, I want to hear from you. I want to, if you got some kind of, I mean, I'm not, hello, I'm Fraser and I'm listening. I'm not going to be, I don't want to do that. I'm no doctor. I don't think Terry or Amber are doctors, but even if they were, we wouldn't be looking for their expertise right here, if you will. What we're looking for is to be able to get things out, help others get things out, okay? But Terry, Amber, and myself, I know I can't. You can't take a horse to water and make them drink. I mean, you can take them to water, but you can't make them drink.
The
And
hose down their throat.
we know what's best for someone, but it doesn't matter how much we twist their arms. And I mean, you can do the tough love, like you're saying, but then again, we do have to help them also.
Hmm.
And but we're not here to fix. I'm not here to fix anybody. Okay, I'm here to help provide the tools, a ear to hear, and I would say a shoulder to lean on, but there ain't no leaning here because you're out there in radio land or podcast land or whatever platform you might be on, and obviously we're just not next to each other. But I'm definitely an ear to hear, or definitely eyes to read your comments, and if you want us to contact you anyway, provide an email address. I'm going to say my phone number real quick. It's 228-365-1012. I don't know if I should do that. I don't want to get any goofy calls, but I'm happy to accept a text. If you just want to talk about something to get something off your back, more than happy. I don't care if you're a veteran. We are on Military Broadcast Radio, but it does not matter if you're a veteran or if you're a civilian or if you're a grown up rug rat. We'll take care of it. We'll listen, okay? And just always just don't try to do it on your own, okay? And I want to be able to tell you where you can go. Obviously, I don't know where everybody lives, and I mean I know what state Terry and Amber are from, but I don't know the town. I don't know. Definitely don't know the addresses and stuff like that. But what I do know is there's several different things, and if you go online, even in the app stores, you can get apps for different type of recovery programs, 12-step programs like the one that I'm really involved with, Celebrate Recovery, and you just look it up on the app, Celebrate Recovery, and I can almost guarantee you during the week, maybe only once a week, but there's usually in most communities, maybe I shouldn't say most communities, but all over the United States and some places overseas, Celebrate Recovery meetings are happening. Okay,
Yes.
and everybody is welcome at one of those things. Download the Celebrate Recovery app, put in your zip code, and it'll tell you the closest meeting to you. Now, if you don't have Celebrate Recovery Alcoholics Anonymous, man, what a beautiful things. And the cool thing about both of these programs, they work on anonymity. And we're kind of working on anonymity right here. You don't have to say any of your problems. You know, now I don't care about. I mean, the anonymity. I'm Red, and I'm an alcoholic recovering almost 30 years, and there's only one reason. That ain't my doing. Trust me, I'm not capable of that myself. I've had to have a lot of help. Okay, but I have other areas in my life also because I've struggled with depression and anxiety, migraines, pain, just pain. Okay, and then some things have happened. Maybe in the recent past that it has how do you say that word, exasperated or exasperated or you know
Exasperate.
it exasperate. It has made things worse, and but hey, working our way through it. Listen, I tell you, if you got any type of problem, my mother always said, if you ain't got problems, you ain't living. Okay, and well, so far she's been pretty right on to me, and
Yeah.
I think my grandmother was one of those sayings, good, better, best, never let it rest, and just keep on going. You got to keep on going. Each of us, I don't care who you are out there, we got to stay active. And if you're, say you're bedridden, you're able to watch this show, you got to stay active with your mind. You got to try to
Mm-hmm.
talk to other people. If you can't talk, some people can't, right?
Mm-hmm.
Some of us are not able to talk. We've lost our voice. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
Look, sign or whatever you got to do, write and communicate with somebody. And I tell you what, one of the biggest things, and Amber and Terry, I'll be honest with you on this. I'm trying to be honest on everything. Some people say when they say that they're lying. They ain't telling the truth. Well, that's not true all the time. Because I can tell you this: it is often better for me to sit back and listen.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and sometimes it might just be, you know, just sitting back where nobody else is around
Mm-hmm.
and listening. You got to have that time for you just to slow down and hear and just to understand, and that's so important. And you can't do that all the time.
Mm-hmm.
But my goodness, you can get on a beach somewhere or just in a quiet room and just sit there, and you might pray, you might meditate, whatever it is. You just got to take it easy, listen, stop, and figure out what's really bothering you. And that's what the beauty between these 12 steps are. They'll get you to a position where it's not all on you. You're giving somebody else a chance to help you. Okay, and I think most all of us have somebody out there that we can trust, and that is willing to listen to you and just hear what's going on in your life, and so you can confide in them and knowing that they're not going to tell anybody else, but you can get it off your chest, you can get it out of your mind, and that's a wonderful thing. Okay, and the program, as it continues to go into the program, working the steps, it's just amazing how much how much will come out. Okay, just by talking it, which like we're talking right now, just by writing it down on paper with certain steps, taking note, not to share with anybody, but necessary, but to write down and say, hey, look, man, I didn't even realize I was bothered by that. And it could have been something a long time ago. Wouldn't it be amazing if we could go back and figure where did we start going wrong? You know what I mean? Because we're all pure and innocent and this kind of stuff. Good little people. I mean, after you get out of the baby crying, you get out of the diapers. Most everybody is a pretty good little person. And when you think about it, when their baby been right when they're born, and even the young years, ain't ever hurt nobody, hit nobody, fussed at nobody. Well, maybe the baby fussed at somebody, but it didn't know. It was we didn't know what they were fussing about. They either were hungry, had gas, needed something to drink, or just wanted some attention. And
Mm-hmm.
sometimes I think a lot of us, we're striving for attention even as we get older. We need attention. We're not meant to do all of it alone. Okay, find a friend. With these programs I talk about, you find what they call a sponsor, somebody that really will dedicate time with you to hear and to help listen to you and help with your whatever hurt, habit, or hang up you might have. Uh, if Terry, you got anything on your mind you want to share real quick? We're about to go to a break in about 5 minutes, 6 minutes.
I just feel like there's a lot of people that struggle and they struggle silently and they don't
Yes.
think they have anybody to talk to or to reach out to. In reality, there's somebody out there that'll just listen because truly that's what most people want is just to be heard. They don't necessarily want you to fix their problems. They want you to just listen to what's on their heart and what's on their mind. And if you give that person an opportunity to do that, it really makes a difference for them, in my opinion. It's really about getting it all out and acknowledging the behaviors and acknowledging the way you feel and acknowledging, that you have these tendencies or that you have desires that you haven't reached or realized and you're struggling with that. So I think really it's about getting the word out and finding someone, like you said, that's a sounding board for you, not necessarily the fixer or somebody that's going to, take over and take care of you, but it's someone that's just going to be there to support you when you struggle the most.
Right.
I
Right
think
on.
that's what I would say.
That's pretty good. I appreciate that. I mean, that's spot on. I mean, that's Amber. What about you? I mean, what do you think on this?
So I haven't really, I've never gone to Celebrate Recovery or a 12-step program. I've seen them run in church, and I've known people who have been in them, but I've never actually been around somebody actively in recovery. So because everybody in my life who is on drugs or has been on drugs usually just continue on, and so there's not really any recovery. But I do have my cousin who's in prison, and she takes a lot of classes there in prison, and it would be awesome if they had something like celebrate recovery in there. But what I do for her is she just calls me and we talk and we do a Bible study together, and I'm just there for her to lean on, a person to be a sounding board, a person to for her to just, I don't know, get a little bit of wisdom from, I guess.
Right. Well, hey, and that's if that's what you have to offer, that's what you offer. Okay.
Mhm.
And I think that's a wonderful way to go about it, and not even going through a 12-step program or being we would say educated about the areas. You've seen a lot. You can
Yeah.
speak. You can speak from what you've seen from
Mhm.
what do you
Personal
call that?
experience. Personal.
Experience. Speak from experience. It's funny how you get lost in words. Well, I tell you what, I don't know. I think between banging my head and different medications you might be on, it might hurt your hurt pulling out those words sometimes that you want to say, especially when you're might be a little anxious or put on the spot. I'm not saying we're put on the spot. Y'all feel put on the spot?
No.
Amber, you could
No.
feel put on the spot. I drug you in today, so come on. Terry,
No.
we're glad y'all are here. Look, we're really glad y'all are here. We want to thank Military Broadcast Radio. Wouldn't y'all agree?
Yes.
I've
Yay.
only
Very
been
much
Yes,
so.
involved with
absolutely.
them about a month or so, and I tell you, um, that it's just it's I think it's a little therapeutic. You're not gonna believe this. I'm very very shy, and I don't like to talk, and to get in front of anybody, man, just makes me want to put my sunglasses on and hide. You know what I mean? But no, Military Broadcast Radio. It's really awesome. I hope we have any veterans out there or family members of veterans. Let them know about Military Broadcast Radio. There's a lots and lots of activity at the station. I will tell you, I'm not in Denver or not in Colorado, and most of us aren't. And we're from abroad. We're from other places around the nation, and we're able to come in on the same platform. Um, our same platform that we broadcast from, and two other platforms. And we thank Facebook, YouTube, all these different places, Rumble, all these other places that we can slip out to, and it's all about MBR is all about letting veterans' voices be heard. Okay,
Mhm.
and I tell you what, I really think it's about veterans' voices be heard. That's one big thing. But I tell you what, it's for everybody, and veterans to hear, you know.
Mhm.
And because I've been listening to some of the programs, some, you know, you might not be crazy about all of them. They've all of them are for somebody, okay.
Mhm.
And I guess if it's for somebody or even that one person to keep them busy, keep them active, and you know, having a good time for a little while, that's well worth it, okay.
Mhm.
And it's just like a radio station. You hear a song. If you don't like the song, switch to the next one. Nowadays, we got it made. Used to, you have a couple radio stations around the house, uh, around town, maybe one TV station or
Mhm.
two TV stations. Where I was originally from, Meridian, Mississippi, and man, if TV, if it wasn't what you wanted, you'd have that option to turn it to different channel. You had to turn it off. You know.
Mhm.
Well, we don't lose anybody here. Speaking of songs, we're fixing to go to a little intermission for 3 or 4 minutes and let everybody just kind of loosen up. No, can't keep your attention going the whole time. But we're going to come back. We're going to talk a little bit more about the struggles. And I'm going to talk about some of those first steps you can take to realizing recovery. And like I said, you don't have to have the problem. But if you're living and breathing, you probably got something that this can help. And if you don't have anything that will help for you, I guarantee you, I absolutely guarantee, there's something that's going to help for a friend or a relative, okay? Or somebody, just a loved one that you might have, okay? All right, we're going to go to a quick break, station break. We'll have some music, and here we go.
Maybe I'm foolish, or maybe I'm blind, thinking I can see through this and see what's behind. Got no way to prove it, so maybe I'm lying. But I'm only human after all. I'm only human after all. Don't put your blame on me. Don't put your blame on me. Take a look in the mirror, and what do you see? Do you see it clearer, or are you deceived in what you believe? 'Cause I'm only human after all, and you're only human after all. Don't put the blame on me. Don't put your blame on me. Some people got the real problems. Some people out of love. Some people think I can solve them. Lord heavens above, I'm only human after all. I'm only human after all. Don't put the blame on me. Don't put the blame on me. Don't ask my opinion, don't ask me to lie, and beg for forgiveness for making you cry. For making you cry. 'Cause I'm only human after all. I'm only human after all. Don't put your blame on me. Don't put the blame on me. Oh, some people got the real problem. Some people out of love. Some people think I can solve them. Lord heavens above, I'm only human after all. I'm only human after all. Don't put the blame on me. Don't put the blame on me. I'm only human. I made mistakes. I'm only human. It's all it takes to put the blame on me. Don't put the blame on me. 'Cause I'm no prophet or Messiah. You should go looking somewhere higher. I'm only human after all. I'm only human after all. Don't put the blame on me. Don't put the blame on me. I'm only human. I do what I can. I'm just a man. I do what I can. Don't put the blame on me. Don't put your blame on me.
Don't put your blame on me. Hey, I'm only human. Look, everybody knows that. I know I got a lot of people that can agree, and I can carry a tune in a bucket. Okay, all I got to do is go to Home Depot, Walmart, Lowe's, Harbor Freight, grab a 5-gallon bucket, throw my phone in it with it tuned in to some station, maybe MBR podcast, and look, I can carry a tune. Hey, Terry, Amber, y'all both only human, right?
Yes.
I like that
Absolutely.
song. I wasn't really familiar with the song, and I kind of like it.
I do
I hope
too.
other people liked it too. Look, I promised you before we went on break that we were going to come and I was going to talk. Look, it's time to be stepping out, okay? I could say step out of your comfort zone, and that comfort zone could be some area in your life that you put up with, or you enjoy, that you know it ain't right. You know you shouldn't have to deal with it. And listen, look, folks, I get it. You can't just. I know everybody don't remember the Bewitched show, but I do. And I know that I can't just wiggle my nose. I can't do my mouth like Samantha, and or do like that grandmother or whatever, and make all things just change, right?
Hmm.
But if I take a step, okay, take a step. That's what I'm talking about. High stepping it, stepping out. Look, one big step, and this is the first one. And if you look at one of those that app I was telling you about, if you look at look up on Google anything about Alcoholics Anonymous or Google the 12 steps, there's some great ones out there. And one of the first steps you take, okay, and you realize and admit that you're powerless over any type of addictions, okay?
Hmm.
Well, I ain't got an addiction. Okay, we admitted we're powerless over any kind of hurt, habit, or hang up.
Yes.
I know I got smelly feet. I'm powerless over it. But no, I tell you what, we got smelly feet. Probably can start some bathing and stuff. You take a few steps and you can fix that, okay? Now, if you got soccer players at the house or any of your kids that are in athletic at any kind, I know they're going to bring home some bad shoes.
Some funk. They'll bring home some funk.
Oh, my goodness. I don't even know how they can stand having it on them. I guess we might have done that when we were younger, too. But I didn't have to worry about soccer. I didn't have to worry about shin guards. And I tell you what, I think that's one of the worst, my two older boys. But I got a younger daughter, and she did show choir and theater and all this stuff. And where they were dancing around. And, boy, my boys didn't smell as bad as I thought they did. You know what I mean? Can I say that? Anyway. We all stink in some way. We all stink in some way or another, whether it's a smelly stuff or if it's just, man, that stinks. The way you're acting stinks.
Hmm.
But when we come to that point when we can admit we're powerless over a hurt habit or hang up, that's our compulsive behavior. That OCD you got. Amber, you got any OCD?
No.
I'm not putting you on the spot. Listen, Terry,
I do.
You got any?
I do.
Okay.
I do. I have to check a door 4 times before I'm convinced it's locked. So I'll go check the door. It's locked. I check it again just to make sure I didn't miss something the first time, and then I check it one more time for good measure, and then I do it a 4th time just because. So
that's good.
Like admitting you have these little quirks and admitting you have these problems is like the very first step to like resolving those issues. And maybe they're not bad, but at least they're there. At least you have them, and like the song says, you're only human after all. So don't blame me because I'm human, because I'm going to fail.
Singing again,
right? Everyone can fail, and get back up. That's the key, is getting back up. And it's also admitting that you have an issue, you have a problem, and maybe it's not a big problem. Maybe it's spending. Maybe you spend on clothes. Maybe you spend on cars. Maybe you spend on guns. Like people have habits, and they're not necessarily bad, but maybe they need to be reined in. You know, a little bit. You
Exactly.
need to acknowledge the behaviors and why do you have that behavior? What's behind it? Is there something behind it? And so it's progressive steps towards acknowledging and then finding ways to kind of balance yourself out so you're not over, you know, like being too much going one direction.
Overindulging in whatever it is.
Yes. Yes,
Mhm.
exactly. Yeah.
Dr. Terry, thank you. I know we're not doctors here, but
We are not.
that right there is a fellow veteran talking from experience, life experience. But I don't blame you on checking your doors regular. Oftentimes I think I locked the door, or somebody else has come through the door and then they didn't lock it. You know, it can't hurt checking doors, especially in these days and times. You know, that just goes back to that hierarchy of news. You got to be feel safe. You know,
Mhm.
Right.
security. You got to feel good. You know, um,
Right.
Amber.
Yeah.
Oh wait, never mind. You didn't have any OCD. No, no,
Well,
I'm just playing. We're just not going to talk about it all right now. Look, I got some overindulgence, and I tell you one place I showed the ladies a little bit earlier. I stood up and showed them my baby, and you'd think that sucker would have been pushed its way out of there by now. But man, I'm about 24, 28 months and counting, you know, and it's rough on an old man. It's rough,
mhm.
I tell you. But I tell you what, I would say I'm powerless over it, but I know I'm not completely powerless. It might just be a matter of me pushing away from the table, you know, not worried about cleaning that plate. I just don't, I hate wasting stuff, you know,
Well, you know, kids
unless
are
it's
taught to
money.
clean our plate,
Unless it's money, Terry. I waste
right?
money. I bet I'm that person. I spend a dollar here and a dollar there, and then afterwards, it's like, man, why did you do that? You know,
Mhm.
Right.
and doing the same things you try to teach your kids not to do. Being
Yes.
responsible when you can't even be responsible for yourself. But anyway,
Mhm.
once we admit that we're powerless over all those hurts, habits, and hangups, um, and you know, I mean, it's hard to say this, but to realize because of the overspending, the overeating, the addictions, whatever it is that's troubling you, in all essence, your life has become unmanageable. So by admitting you're powerless over those hurts, habits, and hangups, and uh, and admitting that hey, my life's become unmanageable. I,
Mhm.
I mean that's bottom line, okay?
Yeah.
And we got to step on through it. But once you do that, hey, out there at Podcast Land, let me ask you: did you ever just think of something you might be powerless over? I don't know, but hey, if you did, man, you took a great step. That's
Mhm.
the most important
Yeah.
step, truthfully, is step one, right? I
Yeah.
mean, and that's, I mean, it's just kind of like common sense.
Mhm.
It makes sense. You know, we talk about the hurts, habits, and hangups. One being me being a church goer and being a Christian. I'll tell you what, I got to come to realize that nothing good lives in me. That's in my sinful nature. For I have the desire to do what's good, but man, I cannot carry that out by myself. You find that in the book of Romans in the good book of life
Mhm.
that has helped me through these struggles. And I'm not talking about struggles about washing my hands before I eat or after I've eaten or when I come in from playing or this or that or the other. I'm talking about just flat out knowing that I ain't perfect.
Mhm.
Hey, I will say, listen, look, you know how we're kind of serious,
Yep.
but I thought I was perfect. Okay, my wife she questioned something, and it actually all of a sudden I was like, my gosh, I didn't realize. And then I wrote, wait a minute, yes I did. So anyway, so maybe I'm perfect. I don't know. Prove me wrong. Prove me wrong. No,
Right.
none of us are. None of us are. And everybody, I don't care who you are. I call it sin. It can be bad for you, but for me, it's a sin, and there's so that oh man, that covers so many categories, which actually means this kind of programs like this is for anybody and everybody.
Yes.
I mean, admit it. Hey, look, we can admit it. But so, what do y'all think about that? Is that right, Amber?
Yeah, I
It
mean,
sound good.
yeah, and I have found just in my own personal life, my hangups are that I got hurt when I was 19 years old. No, I was 20 years old. I had just turned 20 years old. And so I was really upset for a long time that I wasn't able to have my career in the military. I wasn't able to, I wanted to go into the FBI,
Oh
and,
man.
make it a career, And so I was hung up for a long time on that. And the thing that got me really through that is God, going to church and having my husband and my family validate me and validate what I do for them. And that helps me with my hangups. And so yeah, I've also had a lot of really bad things happen in my life. My father committed suicide in my home. And my 4-year-old son, he was at 4 at the time, found him. And that was really hard to deal with for a long time. And we're still dealing with some of the consequences of that. And you honestly, genuinely don't realize what an event like that can do to your entire reality.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I have been able to get over a lot of those hangups through my actually my cousin who is in prison. She's the reason I'm back in church because like I said, I was in bed for 6.5 years. And I didn't have anybody come visit me. I didn't have anybody call me. And I worked in ministry for over 20 years now. And no one ever checked in on me. And so I had a really hard time with that. I understand now that we're only human and we're all sinners, and we all get wrapped up in our own lives. We all get wrapped up in our own wants and needs, and we can't hold that against people.
That's a fact.
And yeah.
Yeah.
So
Hey, how about that person? A person is a prisoner doesn't help you realize, and you never know where that help can come from, and hopefully y'all be reunited one day. And the grieving over a lost loved one, especially in that situation, I can't imagine. Don't want to try to imagine, but I just I'm thinking of you right now. I'm definitely
thank you.
thinking of you, and just praying that you
Yes.
get that you can because that grieving is a long process, and like you say, a situation like that just you, man, you didn't just hurt yourself. You hurt everybody that loves you, and there's people that love everybody.
Yeah.
You don't. I'm not loved. My wife fusses me all day. Look at that heart coming out. Terry got a heart showing. I don't even know if I can do that. I might be struggling and powerless over making this heart. I can do that, but uh, so that's kind of what it was. I'm gonna get in the mirror later and practice that. I didn't practice it beforehand. I'm gonna have to get better at that.
There you go.
But we're saying all this and talking about this kind of knowing your powers, realizing that you can't do something by yourself can lead you right to the second step. I always say these first few steps can go pretty fast, okay? Regardless of the situation, because just admitting it and knowing you're powerless is over it, that don't fix it.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
That don't fix it, okay? But we can decide, make a decision to turn our lives and our wheels over to that higher power. what God is to me. God.
Mhm.
And that is, if we turn it over to God in view of God's mercy, and this is one of my I keep reading from the Bible right here, but this is one of my favorite verses, and it's from Romans also. Therefore, I urge you, brothers, in view of God's mercy, to offer your bodies as a living sacrifice, holy and pleasing to God. That's your spiritual act of worship. Okay, that's how I worship. Okay, and
Mhm.
that's what I want it to be. Now, am I? Wow, I say I'm an ambassador. You know how a lot of us would be in veterans or employed by some of these big companies and corporations, or actually whoever your employer is. If you work for Family Dollar or Dollar General or the or cashier somewhere, McDonald's, normally while you're at work, you're an ambassador for that company. Us with the military, that anybody that was going through basic training and serving time in the military know we have to be ambassadors for the it's not we're not by ourselves when we
Mhm.
walk out there on liberty on pass. You might go out on leave, you might be in our country, another country, your hometown, somebody else's hometown. We better act right because we're being held
Mhm.
accountable. Okay, and in this way, in my beliefs, I'm being held accountable also myself. I've got a job that I'm supposed to do, what's expected out of me, and I want to share that with others and give them that opportunity to change in that kind of way, and but knowing those things and turning our lives and our wheels over. Um, wow, that lets a lot off the chest. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Yeah.
And that I mean, it, that makes a change. That makes a positive change. And Terry, I don't know if you, man, I tell you what, I must be talking too much because I'm wanting to hear y'all talk more now. And we only got like 12 or 13 minutes left. What say Terry?
Well, what I wanted to say is that a lot of companies offer EAP services, and with those EAP services, they have referrals to other services that are helpful. So if your company that you work for now, or the VA, or any of the military organizations that help with PTSD and the other types of um, cognitive type of therapies that can go on, are really a great resource, and people should tap into those.
Okay.
I would also say that, Amber, I don't know what steps you took to get out of bed, but what you did obviously worked. You're here now, so you're celebrating your recovery from your depression, or from your injury, or from the hurts and the problems that you've experienced throughout your life. And so whatever you did to get yourself to that point, it's probably helpful to somebody else. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, I'm a weird person. Let's just get this out of, out
Join the
of the way.
club. Join the club.
Okay, so um, I was experienced. Okay, so I went to school full time. After I got out of the military, I worked, but I was always struggling with pain. I was always struggling with migraines, and then the pain and the migraines just got worse and worse and worse. And I was on all types of medications, from fentanyl and Percocet, and all this gambit. Personally, I think Lyrica is the worst drug of them all, just because it makes me fall asleep, and I had more side effects from that. But what I did is while I was laying in that bed, I listened to audiobooks, I watched YouTube, I created this kind of learning studio in my head and in my bedroom, in my bed, of just pumping my mind with as much information as I possibly could. And then with the help of the VA, after we moved here to Missouri from Florida with Botox and monthly injections for the migraines, I was able to get to some semblance of normalcy. And then I went through the pain management program that they offer at the VA. I didn't really need it because I had already been through it once before, but it was a good refresher. And it just reminded me that I have a life to live. And I already knew that, but just seeing other people who were even worse off than me, or whatever, it just made me, really think, okay, I need to live. And then when my cousin was put in prison, it just kind of woke me up a little bit to reality. And yeah, I had a lot of really weird things happen to me in my life. And I've just kind of realized that God wants me here. I have a purpose, and I'm trying to fulfill that purpose in whatever way possible now. And I think just learning that you have a purpose, and I think that makes a big difference to anyone, that doesn't feel like they have a purpose, or they're kind of floating or whatever, because I've been basically disabled since 99, not being able to do anything, or what I could do, was very hard to do. But I did it anyways. And I think just knowing who I am in Christ, who I am as a person, confident in who I am, that's helped me pull myself out of everything that I've gone through. And we could go and talk for hours and hours about all the crazy things that have happened to me. But yeah, I don't know.
Amber,
That's
I
great.
appreciate that answer. I appreciate what you shared, and I think that can be so meaningful to somebody. It's meaningful to me, and I
Thank you.
sat there and I think about how sometimes we feel sorry for ourselves, which I truthfully feel sorry for you having to go through that, and you know, I mean, I know how some people might say, "Bless your heart." I am saying, hey, listen, Amber, I am saying, bless your heart. You've been through it, buddy. I know that, and
Yeah.
and I know so many people have. I know
Hmm.
that when I go to the VA, I go to the VA a lot.
Me
I'm
too.
constantly either I'm doing X-rays, I'm doing blood tests, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, and going to get a refill on a medicine that I forgot to ask them to refill. But
Hmm.
at my particular VA that I go to, my caretakers or physicians, um, or whoever takes care of me. Listen, I think they're doing pretty good. I think like a lot of times I say, oh, H Train, our agent manager, Maverick, who makes it helped us make it happen today. You
Hmm.
know,
Yeah.
they might think, boy, this guy's got some problems. You know what I mean? I'm wasting my time. But I tell you what, between those people with the VA, between just being here to be with you two ladies, I really, 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 I can't even say how much I appreciate it. But I'm thankful y'all are here. Okay. And I want to know real quick. It's 3:54 Central Time. Terry, you're going to have another show. You're going to have a broadcast of your own. Is that correct?
Yes, it's called the Tracer Round, Fire for Effect. And so it'll be about veterans services and about veterans who succeeded, who've gone above and beyond. I've got several speakers lined up to have conversations with. And so I'm really hopeful I can bring something to the table that's going to be helpful to veterans and anybody really, like, dependents and things that support veterans, or just supporting your family members. I mean, because maybe they're struggling, maybe they have problems that they're dealing with because of military service, because
Right.
the military doesn't discriminate when it just deals with the service member themselves. It also affects the family. So having resources for family is important too, because family supports the soldier and the soldier's got to support the family. It's a two-way street.
It is
So
Hmm.
I'm hopeful to
guaranteed.
bring
It
that.
is.
Yeah, I'm,
Thanks,
I'm hopeful
Terry.
to bring that type
Thanks,
of
Terry.
entertainment and value.
I'm sure it'll be great, and people will love it.
Thank you.
I'll be watching. I guarantee you. Okay.
Thank
When
you.
you know exactly what time and everything it's gonna be on, let me know, and I'll try to let everybody else I know. Okay.
Thank you. I
I
will.
like how to
Appreciate it.
let everybody I know. Man, I would give Amber a second to tell me what kind of show she's doing, but I want to take this opportunity to put a plug in for my new book. No, I'm just playing. I'm a lover, not a writer. Okay, I mean, I love people. I love living. I'm a servant. You know, I'm servant minded. I got a servant's heart. Amber, what kind of show you got going?
So it's Into the Weeds podcast. I'm just, like I said, I'm using this for cognitive therapy to learn how to speak again, to think again. Yeah, so I'm talking to Brian Big Country Conwell, who is a professional Paralympic or Olympian. I'm speaking to Rafa House, who is a ministry that rescues women and children from sex slavery in Cambodia, Haiti, and Thailand now. And then I'm also speaking to an archaeologist, and I'm just speaking to people that I find interesting, on topics that I find interesting. And during those episodes, we try to go into the weeds and discuss something weird, something in the news, something just to kind of make it a little fun. And so, yeah, that's what I'm doing. And it will be out tomorrow night at 6 p.m.
Tomorrow?
It will, yes.
What time again was that?
6 p.m. on MBR
Eastern?
Talk.
Is that Eastern time? I think a lot of times
so.
when they say something's going to be on, they put it in Eastern time. I'm
I
not
think it's
positive.
Eastern.
Sometimes there could be a little confusion in there. I'd say we could use UTC or Zulu time since we're military, but obviously that's not how the rest of the world works. And some of us have been. I've been retired almost as long as I was in.
Wow.
That's just unbelievable. Look, it's we just got a couple more minutes left. Once again, I want to thank you, Terry, for being here. I really do.
My pleasure.
And that's awesome. And Amber, same. Look,
You're welcome.
yeah, I appreciate it. And as far as learning to speak again, my goodness, when you finally learn to speak, I don't know if I have the right kind of ears to listen. You sound like you do a great job to me, and just continue praying that you continue to get better and get confident or whatever it is that you were. But because I tell you what, you're speaking. Okay.
Well, thank you.
Before we shut down, I want one more time. I just want to thank Military Broadcast Radio. Amber, I want to thank you. I want to thank you, Terry. Y'all made it happen for me today. Yeah. I could not have done this by myself. I appreciate y'all. I thank you from the bottom of my heart for y'all stepping up and being here. Folks, today, what about 4 hours ago? I said, hey, we got any volunteers willing to come over here on the program and do this or do that so I don't have to be there by myself? Boy, I had messages just like that right there. Terry and Amber were the first two on there. I said, boy, I like it. And then we had a little challenges making sure, make it all happen. But by golly, we did, We did. The Lord saw us through for our first episode. Freedom from struggle, folks. MBR Radio, Military Broadcast Radio. Don't forget them. Don't let them slip to the back of your mind. They can use. You're able to donate. Go to Military Broadcast Radio on the online. MBR Radio, MBR Talk. They give veterans a voice, and your contributions that you might be willing to give puts a mic in front of somebody. It puts headphones on somebody. And who knows what it might put on there, and who knows what they really have to hear or really have to say that the world, and I'm not talking about just our little bubble, our clique, what the world might have to hear, okay?
Yeah.
I thank y'all so much again, and we got to say bye-bye. If y'all can get my hand in front of the camera, I'll wave bye-bye. Thanks for joining us today, y'all. Have a good one.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.